Okay, so I've never shown you this part of our new apartment before, the mess that I cleverly avoid showing you in all the angles that I choose in the previous videos that I've done. Okay, you can tell I'm in a new place in the apartment. Now watch this as I slowly, yeah, so, okay. In the first few videos, I had you all stacked on that stack of boxes there. And I was sitting where that pile of bags and various other things are. So we have gotten, as you may have seen in my last video, we have gotten the kitchen put together. So some of the things that were in the kitchen got moved over there to where I used to sit. So now it's a little trickier to just, pull up a chair and set you on some boxes and chat with you. So right now I have you sitting on a box on the kitchen table. On the dining room table, it's one room. If you're not sure if you want the other angle to that, check out my last video. I give you a little view of the table. It's super heavy, and my husband put it together. The legs had been off, and he put it on and lifted it. And anyways, so we have our kitchen table set up. But today is a very rainy day. I'm looking out our dining room kitchen window, and it's super rainy today. There were some thunderstorms that rolled in earlier. It was awesome. For some reason, my voice is disappearing. I've got the other cozy thing. So it's a rainy day. The other cozy thing is I'm like, this is a great day for tea. So hang on while I sip, because I don't know what's happening to my voice. One moment. Hopefully that'll help. I don't know, but it is such a cozy day. I've been sitting here at the kitchen table. Because I would be sitting on the couch to read, but we're still dealing with like an ant problem. We're working on that. So anyway, today they were crawling on the couch, which is not cozy. So I moved here to the cozy kitchen table so you can get a view of, I guess that technically is our own front door, even though it's not the front door of the home that we're living in. So we're living in a one-bedroom apartment. That's like, I guess you call it like a mother-in-law apartment type situation above the garage with our own separate entrance of some people that we know. So anyways, so this is like our front entrance, and then you can see where we hang things, and it's not super interesting from this angle, but anyways, just to orient you, that's where I'm sitting today. So it's super cozy. It's been raining, thunderstorms, and I've been drinking, well, first coffee, then tea. And then, you guys, I started reading a new book, and I am loving it. And you may have heard me mention before that, unfortunately, I hardly ever choose books that I give 4 or 5 stars to. Like, if I give, out of 5. So if I give a book 3 out of 5, that means, I read it and I didn't hate it or actively dislike it. So that most books that I end up reading, like my average on Goodreads when I rate them is 3 out of 5. So anyways, I think I'm reading a book now that could either end up being a 4-star or a 5-star, and I'm really excited to tell you about that one. But I have some other ones to chat with you about first. I wanted to do a cozy rainy day catch up to show you the actual real life view of the living room, and to chat about books and drink tea because it's a cozy rainy day, thunderstorm day. So you may have seen in my last video, I hadn't officially finished the book, but I did officially finish this one. What is it? A Proper Place? The Proper Place by O. Douglas. And I won't go on about it too long because I talked about it in the last video, and basically the summary is people have to move from a really, really nice house into just a really nice house and meet their neighbors, and they end up gossiping about them and making their neighbors their project and critiquing and judging them on petty things that don't matter. And then to add on top of that, one person in the story gets like a happy wrap up to her story, and you're like, oh, good, something good happened for her. But the main character has an awful, like, I don't want to give any spoilers in case for some reason you want to read this, but not only was the book not what I thought it was going to be, and it was very petty, but one of the ending for one of the characters just out of nowhere, like, and surprise, this awful thing happens. And you're like, oh my word. Like the whole story, it's been this vibe of like happy-go-lucky. This is just a pleasant little neighborhood story. And then you're like, that's unexpected. So it was like sad and like, what? As I read that part of the book, I was like, I think I literally laughed out loud and said to the author, who has probably since long passed, I was like, what are you doing to me? Why would you do that? Anyways, that is The Proper Place by O. Douglas. Okay, I feel like I need to adjust my chair because, hang on, this might be a little bit loud. Okay, that's not bad. Because it's turning out that I'm wanting to hold the books over here instead of over here. Okay, so next, I wanted to go from that to another cheesy, cozy mystery, which if you've been around here much while I talk about books, you have heard of my unfortunate draw towards cheesy, cozy mysteries, which I end up being kind of annoyed with as I read them. And then when I'm done reading them, then I miss them. It's odd. But anyways, the next book that I read was a cozy mystery called Fatal Family Feast by Lynn Cahoon. Cahoon? Lynn Cahoon? I found this in my local free little library, and it's like pretty short. So I found that in my local free little library, and I almost did not bring it home because, I don't know, cozy mysteries, how they are what they are. And I was like, do I really need another one of these? And then I read the description, and the whole story is set in a place that is extremely connected to me and my life, and a place that I love. And so I thought, you know what? I have to read this. So it was everything that every cozy mystery is, typos, confusing editing moments, over the top characters, when the villain should be a criminal, but they act more like a villain. When the criminal/villain reveals themselves, it's in this dramatic kind of like Scooby-Doo reveal, or like this monologue of, well, this is why I did it. And you're like, okay. So anyways, all of that happened. But what I did enjoy is, oh wow, it's getting much darker. Hopefully, can you still see me? So what I did enjoy is, well, there's a dog, but he doesn't get much airtime. I'm like, I think they just did that to get me to read the book. Put a dog on the cover. He's in there. He's just not very often. But I did enjoy reading, since it was a place I knew very, very well, but is far away from me now. It was fun to read the places that they were going in the story. And then I was like, oh, I know where that is. Or I could picture it because, I'd been there many times. So that was fun. So yeah. Fatal Family Feast. If you've read one, you've read them all, I was going to say, know what I mean, Vern? Raise your hand. Anyone grow up with Ernest P. Worrell? Know what I mean, Vern? Because that's part of my vernacular. And I almost just said it without explaining it. But anyways, please sound off in the comments if you remember Ernest. Ernest goes to jail. Ernest goes to camp. Ernest saves Christmas. Okay, so next, I read, just checking, like, pretty sure I turned the stove off when I made the tea. Yes, okay. So, next. So I'm not finished with this one yet, but I am reading When Strivings Cease by Ruth Chou Simons. And this is a combination of her sharing about her experience as being the child of immigrants and her story of like just the things that she experienced in yeah, her unique experience and her family, and it's a combination of her story mixed in with her view of God and how she had to work through feeling like she moved. How can I explain this? She started out in her life of faith feeling like she had to perform and like be good enough for God to like her. So then she moved into like more of a place of freedom and seeing God's compassion and love. So anyways, that's why it's called When Strivings Cease. She has a really good quote at the beginning here. Let's see if I can find it. It's before the book even starts, but it summarizes her point that she's making pretty well. So, it's a quote from Tim Keller. So, here's the quote. Buddha's final words, strive unceasingly. Jesus's final words, it is finished. So that kind of summarizes where she's going with the book, of like moving from a place of constantly having to like self-improve. I need to get better. I need to be a better person, a better me, a better Christian, a better human, a better daughter, a better that, like striving for like always feeling like you have to be more and more and more. And then moving to a place in her life where she could just rest and just be. Anyway, it's been really good. I'm not quite done with that yet. Almost halfway through. Okay, so here's the book I'm really, really excited about, and I just started it today, and I'm several chapters in because I'm just loving it. So this is Digging to America by Ann Tyler, and the premise is two families. There's a white family and an Iranian, I want to say it correctly. My first thought is to say Iranian, but it's probably Iranian family. So there's these two families, American families, and they've both separately, in their own families, adopted little girls from Korea, probably South Korea. I'm guessing they don't really specify. So they're both adopting Korean daughters. And this book was written in 2005 or 2006. And the story starts off with these families both waiting right at the airport gate to welcome their new daughters into the family. And as I was reading, I was like, wait, this can't be, because like post 9/11, you couldn't go right up to the gate, And so I'm like, wait, what's happening here? So I'm thinking that this story is going to address a lot of like xenophobia that happened after 9/11 and stereotypes. And it's already like just a few chapters in, and I'm like, oh, I know what's happening here, because you have the white family that think that they're being very open-minded and welcoming, but they're actually being very offensive and rude, and how things can go. But anyways, towards the other family, so they think that they're being friends, but it turns out, I'm picking up that even though this book was written in 2005, the story actually starts in like 1997, all fictional, by the way, but it feels very real. So the story begins, they're adopting their daughters in like 1997. And so the story is slowly progressing. What I think is going to happen, I think in the story, as the readers, we're going to get to watch them navigate 9/11. Because on the back, it talks about like when views start to clash and different viewpoints and beliefs, and, all this stuff is multi-layered. There's so much going on, and it's really good with the characters. And it's funny because I read online different reviews of this book, and some people were like, oh, I didn't really love it. It's really not her best. I couldn't really get into it. I was kind of bored. And I'm like, I was hooked on it from the beginning. So if you are interested in stories about like race and family and culture and navigating friendships, neighbors, things like that, I'm several chapters in, just because I haven't been able to put it down today, but I feel like it's going to be like a 4 or a 5 star for me. It's just, I'm loving it. So that's what I've been reading. This tea is what I've been drinking. I think we're going to have another thunderstorm here. Speaking of beverages, I have not mentioned this in a while, but I do have another way that you can support the channel other than just watching, which it's not just watching, it is watching, other than watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you would like to support the channel more than watching, that's what I want to say. And if you're not on a tight budget, feel free to check out my Buy Me a Coffee site. I have it down in the description. You can do a one-time donation, or I have memberships that start at $2 a month. I also am selling a gratitude journal called the Honest Gratitude Journal, because it leaves space for you to process the difficult things about your day and the things that went well that you're grateful for. So, if you got this far and you want to let me know that you're here, that you were here, but you're not sure what to say, put maybe like a book emoji or a tea emoji. But also feel free to tell me if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts are. And also, please tell me if you know about Ernest P. Worrell. I'm pretty sure that was the character's name. Jim Varney played him. If you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely look up clips on YouTube of Ernest P. Worrell, played by Jim Varney. He started out doing like local commercials around the country, and then he moved into like doing movies and stuff. So anyways, know what I mean, Vern? Love that guy. Sadly, he passed at like age 50. I think he only made it to like 50 back in the 90s. So anyways, Ernest fans, sound off in the comments. And people who are not Ernest fans, please go straight from here to looking up Ernest. Okay, I think that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next time. Bye.